Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Rehoboth Gospel TV. It's a pleasure for us to spend this moment with you as we are about to tackle a very important topic, and especially on this first day of the month of March. Oh, we are going to receive a guest that you will meet in a moment, and we are going to be talking about a very important topic concerning our health. Did you know that most of the illness we have in our body comes from what we eat? Guess what? So do our health too. What we put in our plate, what we put in our mouth determine our health, and guess what? And our longevity. We are going to receive today Dr. Yumban, a scientist, naturopath, a doctor, health consultant. He will have opportunity to introduce himself to you, and feel free to send any question you have on comment. We may be able to answer them now, or later we will be able to get back to you. And some of the question you may have can be directed to him directly, and we will share with you how you can be in contact with him. And other question will be subject of the following episode. So we are giving you a rendezvous on this channel every Saturday from 8 o'clock for the future. So let us together welcome our guest today, Dr. Yomba. Good morning, Dr. Yomba.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. It's a pleasure for us. I try a little bit to give you word about you, but I'm going to leave you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewer. Can you talk to us a little bit about you?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I'm a research scientist and specialized in cancer research.
Mm,
In college, I studied biology, which is the study of living things from a single cell creature
mm,
to humans. I advanced my studies as a postdoctoral fellow at the Lombardi Comprehensive Cancer Center in Georgetown. That's in Washington,
mm.
D.C. And my
Exactly.
research interest was in tumor biology in breast cancer.
Mm. That's
And
wonderful.
yes,
Yeah, and exactly when I was trying to learn a little bit about you, that's when I discovered about your postdoctoral fellowship at Lombardi Comprehensive Cancer. What and I find that you were able to conduct a lot of research. Let's go directly on that on our topic for the sake of time. Can you share with us a specific project you or research that you were involved in, and how those has contributed to sciences today?
yeah. After learning how cancer progresses and metastasizes in humans,
Mm-hmm.
I focused on blocking the process our bodies use to grow new blood vessels, which is called
Mm,
angiogenesis in breast cancer, as a solution for cure to
mm,
cancer research. So I spent 3 years at the Lombardi Cancer Center to uh, to do the research, and I also continued doing the research at the National Cancer Institute. But at Georgetown, my passion was to do disease prevention. Okay, by
mm,
using nutritional bioactive uh, molecules found in food to optimize our defense systems and to educate people on how to heal themselves naturally by the choices of food that they make or they eat. So you asked me about what type of research or the project that I did at the cancer center. So
Exactly.
the thing was focused on breast cancer,
Mm.
and because we know that cancer grows as a result of recruiting new blood vessels. As they recruit the new blood vessels, they grew very rapidly. And so our interest was to find a way to block the blood vessels from forming, because the cancer cells only proliferate as a result of the recruiting of new blood vessels. So they can grow very fast because they can now extract food from their host, which is the humans. And so the purpose was that we wanted to find what is called anti-angiogenic agent, a substance that can block the blood vessel from forming. And of course, part of it was that if you limit carbohydrate intake, which is the sugar source, then you will cut off or you kill the cancer by doing that. And so that's what my interest was over there at the cancer center. And of course, we did that as in the lab as well as in the clinic. And there was a lot of progress, and the research progressed from there. And so we were able to find specific agents that could block blood vessel formation in breast cancer, first of all in the nude mice, and then we now tested that in humans. And it was showed some level of success.
Oh, that's wonderful. My next question to you is, how is it important for people to understand the connection between the food and our health?
Well, the adage is that you are what you eat. And what I found out too now is that whatever you put in your mouth, it is either going to be helpful, that means nutritious, that will rebuild and build up your tissues or muscles and so on, or any kind of damage that has happened in you, that the food will either rebuild or the food may be harmful to you. And the harm that food causes is the type of things that we eat. Now, for example, sugar. Sugar is a lethal agent, even though it's sweet in the mouth, but it is a very dangerous addictive agent. And that's why people tend to eat things that are sweet. And so the sweet things cause a lot of damage. Sugar, when you eat sugar, it actually causes a lot of acidity in the body. And the acidity tends to cause inflammatory agents. Okay, it actually activates inflammatory agents in you, and those will cause the things like the arthritis, the diabetes, the cancer, the Alzheimer's disease. So that is what happens, because there is no balance, because you have to eat food that will support the system that God created us to have a natural defense, so that if any sickness or bacteria or any other thing want to harm us, the body will defend it. Because like a country, you have an army. So defend the country and for security. So God created all those in place, and we have it. But the thing is that we made bad choices of what to eat. And then when we make those bad choices, especially if we are not eating food that has the specific enzymes that need to be used in our system to digest the food, so that it will heal us and give us the defense that we need to defend our body. So when we make bad choices, that is what happens. That means we are harming the body. And what is the bad choices? We only choose specific food, like food that are processed, meaning things like cookies, bread, ultra processed food. That food that is not a natural. In other words, when we go and harvest food from the farm, we come and then process it to remove the fiber and remove other things from the food before we eat. And that is bad, because when you process the food like that, especially the carbohydrate, it becomes and then we try to eat more of that food as well. And when we eat more, then it will the body will store in our system as fat, and that actually activates the inflammatory agent. And so and because of the excess fat that we have in our system, they cause inflammation. It also wipes out the good bacteria that is in our gut, and so then we do not have the bacteria that is supposed to digest the food. So in other words, when you remove the good things, then bad things roll in, and so that is not healthy for us. So we are supposed to eat food that will support systems like the what is called angiogenesis, and then also regeneration, and then the microbiome, which is the gut bacteria, and also the DNA and the immune system. Those are 5 systems in the body that we eat specific food that has to support that system for our body to remain optimal in optimal health. So we cannot obtain that if we are making bad choices. Okay.
Okay, you mentioned earlier that when we take food from our farm, we process it, and the food loses the nutriment our body need. I think the processing of that food, I guess it's what will allow that food to be available. We would say maybe safer, because just taking food from the farm, putting on our table, we need to have it on the shelf so that we can go get it. Not everybody have access to the farm to have fresh food. Now we would just have the opportunity to go to the shelf to get the food from the shelf. What are we missing?
Well, I'm not saying that we should just go and get raw food from the farm and then put it on the table. We have to actually wash it, to wash the dirt off and some bacteria and other things, even to cook some. Okay, but food that things like broccoli, you can eat it raw. You can eat some things like even cabbage or other spinach. You can eat them raw. But if you cannot eat them raw, you can heat it, like steam it. But sometimes we overcook the food in a way that is too. It damages the enzymes. It damages the active molecules in the food that is supposed to build our system or supposed to support our system. So when you over process it, that means you remove the fiber. For example, if you like rice, okay, you process rice, you remove the chaff, and you are just eating plain carbohydrate with no fiber. And when you are eating the rice, for example, some of us just cook the rice with stew and meat, but there is no fiber in there. And so when there is no fiber, when you are eating it now, the body just absorbs the sugar, and then your insulin level also increases. So the more rice you eat, the more insulin is secreted to metabolize the sugar. But then when that happens, now the excess carbohydrate is stored in the form of fat. Now, so harvesting food from the farm is the best thing, but when you harvest it, what I found in my research is that 70% of the food we harvest from the farm, it should be eaten raw, because it contains 100% the digestive enzymes that is supposed to process that metabolism in our system to give us the nutrients and to build to support our immune system, to support our DNA, to support microbiome, and to support the stem cells that will regenerate damaged tissues in our system. Okay, so but we try to overcook the food. So that means when you cook, all the enzymes are completely now damaged. So when you eat it, there is nothing being digested, because you are eating just plain food that has no enzyme that can metabolize or can digest in our system. And so we are eating just food that will not help us. It was just going to stay in our body. Sometimes when we eat, we feel full, but you are only filling the stomach. You are not actually eating food that will get into the cell, because the actual building process is in the mitochondrion, which is in the cell. So if it does not get into the mitochondrion, you have not eaten anything that is going to help the body. So you just pass it out, and you are not eating it. That's why some people get hungry, because you said, but I've just, why? Because the food that you ate, it has not gotten into your system to get the energy. The question is, why do we even eat? We eat because we want to have energy to be able to do things, okay? And for us to, for our system to be balanced, meaning that you have to have the circulatory system, the immune system, the DNA, and the microbiome, and the circulatory system, which is angiogenesis. So those 5 systems must be supported throughout life. So we have to, let me just say, from conception, how the zygote, or which becomes fetus and so on, becomes, how does it grow? It grows because of the blood vessels bringing in the nutrients, bringing in the oxygen and the water that it needs to grow. So that is facilitated by the enzymes that is supposed to conduct those processes. But if we don't have those enzymes that will conduct the functioning organs in our system, then we're not getting the food that the right nutrients to support those systems for our body to stay in good health, so that we can do the things that we're supposed to do. All right.
Okay, doctor. My next question is, what are the common illnesses that are caused by our poor food choices? Any we should be aware of?
Yes, indeed. I would say that all of the diseases, which are so many, in the medical field, there are thousands of diseases. But in our scientific field, I believe that we only have one disease. And that one disease is malfunction of cells. The cells malfunction for 2 reasons. The 2 reasons are deficiency and toxicity. The deficiency,
I've never heard that one.
yeah, the deficiency is as a result of what we eat. We are eating that in other words, we eat food that does not contain all the necessary components that will support the system. Okay, like, for example, like what we are deficient in vitamin D3. Where so many people are deficient in vitamin D3. So many people are deficient in magnesium and many other minerals, and also vitamins. Okay, so when we are not getting in the right nutrients, then the body becomes deficient. The other thing is that the toxicity comes from as a result of the environmental toxins that we inhale from food, from water, from the air, even also from stress. So those things cause a lot of toxicity, and it makes the body so acidic, because our body is slightly alkaline. And so when the body is not in a balanced condition, then the deficiency causes malfunction. Okay, it causes malfunction. Why? Because our body is just like the engine of our body is just like the car. So if something goes wrong in the car, the mechanic is going to diagnose what is wrong with it, and they will tell you that you need to replace this or you need to do this. So in the body, when you are not eating the right nutrients or the right food that will give you the right components to support the system that makes the body to function, then you are now deficient, and the body now goes a malfunction. So what the doctors do is that they are treating symptoms of those deficiencies, and also deficiency symptoms of those toxicity, which will now be like, I mean, as I said, told you, there are several diseases that that come from those lack of the things that we don't put in our system, in our body. So diseases like what? like the diabetes, comes from when you are taking too much sugar. Okay, so the too much sugar actually now blocks the receptors of the insulin receptors that will cause resistance. Okay, and so the food that you are taking, it is no longer metabolized because the receptors have been blocked, and then it will now increases blood sugar level in the body, which is now called diabetes. Okay, so one of the diseases, and the diabetes now, from there you will have several other problems, like your nerves. When you have very high level of sugar in your blood, you will begin to have damaged nerves and other kinds of things. It can also cause blindness. It can cause other kinds of things, and it can also result to cancer. Okay, you can have kidney problems. You can have even dementia, Alzheimer's disease. All of this come from there. All right, because the other thing is that when you are eating all this food, the food and the body is so acidic, it wipes out the good bacteria that is supposed to help us in digestion. Okay, so we are supposed to eat food that will help to that will maintain that microbiome or the gut bacteria to metabolize the food or to digest the food that we're eating. And we don't we don't we make bad choices, and that's why we have it results to disease because of the deficiencies, because of the lack of things that we're supposed to have, and also because sometimes we may not have the food that we need to maintain those systems. But it is that we should have this knowledge that whatever we can afford, it should be something that will support our system. Okay.
Okay. You said something that maybe because I'm not a scientist, a medical, that's why I was ignorant of this, that we cope all the diseases in one term, malfunction of cell due to deficiency and toxicity. And then you went down to say toxicity is caused by stress, the air, and the food. So is it something we can go deeper to understand how just stress influence our body, the air, what we inhale, the environment? Is that something you can say? Can you say something about it?
Yes, of course. When I say toxicity, is that the air. You see, because industrialization has caused a lot of waste. They put out so much toxic chemicals in the air coming from the waste, production waste. Okay, production waste. They put out a lot of carbon. Like the coal mines, like the gasoline that people use in the cars, the exhaust, put out so much smoke. Even the water has chemicals like chlorine and fluorine and all of these other things. They have chemicals in them. And so when we are also using agricultural things like farming, here they put a lot of fertilizer and insecticides and fungicides and herbicides. Okay, those are chemicals. Okay, so the people will tell you that those chemical levels are not harmful to humans. But the thing is that when you spray those chemicals on the farm, it also runs into the water, and then some of the chemicals get into the food that we buy from the store, and sometimes the stores also have put also chemicals on the food to keep it from rotting, and so those things cause become toxic to our tissue, to our cells, and so it causes sickness. So then, of course, like I said, when it gets into our body, it wipes out, for example, the good bacteria in our stomach that is supposed to help us with digestion, and because of that, the environment is not clean, and that's why we talk about the climate change, because they need to purify the air. They need to limit those type of chemicals that are being emitted in the air, in the water, in food. We have to remove them. And so we don't know these things. So sometimes even the tap water has all this chlorine and other things in it. We need to filter it so that we can drink clean water. But see, people, our foreparents used to just drink but spring water. The spring water, nature actually, it passes through rocks and so on. So when you're getting water from the spring that is running from the ground, it is purified by nature. Okay, so they don't have those chemicals in there because it has been purified, and we drink that type of water is better than the tap water that we drink. Okay, so the tap water is not as purified as you are getting from the spring. So the toxicity is generated by us humans by produce. See, they are producing all kinds of things. Even when they are processing food, they process it using chemicals. They want to preserve the food so that it will stay long on the shelf, so that it should not get rot. And they put other kinds of food colors and chemicals to stabilize it, and that's what causes all of the toxins in the body. Okay, so and of course the toxins combined with the deficiency in the minerals that we need to enhance metabolism in the body, then that's how the disease comes from, those kinds of problems that we encounter in our daily lives.
Okay. Yes. So the more you are talking, the more I'm thinking about even myself, the type of food I've been eating, imagining the impact, the effect of it. No, when going to the store, you talk about the food that stays for long in the shelf. There are some food on the shelf that have 1 year's lifetime, 2 years lifetime, but is that safe for us to eat a food that have been packaged for 2 years because the expiration date says it's still good?
Well, like I said earlier, that processed food over ultra processed food is not good for us. I'm not saying that you shouldn't eat those kinds of food, but you should not depend solely on that type of food.
Okay.
You have to balance. Okay, if you are eating cookies, you should eat some vegetables or fruits. Okay, that has the enzyme that is still fresh, because you can always balance it. For example, you see that the animals in the wild, you don't see dead animals lying everywhere that they are sick of some disease.
Okay.
And when the animals are eating the grass, the largest animals in the world eat only grass. And so when they are eating the grass has not been cut before they eat it.
Yeah, that's a whole natural.
Yeah, they eat it naturally, and it contains 100% enzymes. Okay, so that's why they are able to eat. And when they eat, they don't just lie in one place; they keep moving. Okay?
Yeah, I do.
They keep moving, and so the food is being digested. It is circulating in their system. Is building their body, and it's being healthy. So, but when we are eating these cookies and other food that have been processed and kept on the shelf for the half-life is 1 year or whatever the case, that's all we eat. But we don't eat, and when we eat, we just stay indoors throughout. We don't even go out to exercise. So we don't get the vitamin D3 from the sunlight. We are sedentary. So so we are not doing like the animals do. So we are not eating a variety either. So and of course the animals also eat a variety of the grass, because no one grass has all the enzymes. That's why they eat a variety, so that it comes together and is either synergistic, because they always say that many hands do light work. So when you bring all those, they eat all the grass that contains different enzymes that will digest the food. And so, but the cookies and other food that we eat, and we don't mix anything, only just eating that. Sometimes people just grab that and eat, and that's their food for the whole day. That's not balanced diet. So you are not doing yourself any service by doing that. You are instead harming your body, because the body needs the enzymes, the body needs water. But sometimes people don't even drink water. Some people tell me that they prefer just drinking soda and they don't like water. You see, water and the soda that they're drinking is packed with sugar, is packed with chemicals. Okay, so those chemicals damage our bodies. So yes, they can have food on the shelf and they will tell you that, but they are not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm not asking you not to eat those food. Eat it, yes, but limit it. Okay, you have to limit. You have to limit it, and then you have to mix with vegetables. You have to mix with fruits. You have to drink water. You have to also exercise, and also meditate. Okay, meditation is very important. Okay, you have to meditate, because when you meditate, your body is calm, and then of course that means you are balancing out your thoughts. You are balancing out your system. Okay, so those food on shelf, I would tell you that please don't eat much of those food. Things like even cereal. We give our children cereal. The cereal doesn't have any fiber. It is just empty carbohydrate. Sometimes they put milk in there. Yeah, milk is mostly for the milk is okay, but the thing is that they may have fortified the milk with vitamin D, but is that calcium. But you see, when you drink the milk, our body, especially humans, especially the black people, they don't have the enzymes that can digest the milk. Okay, that's why they have lactose intolerance because of that. There's a deficiency on that. So milk. When you say you should drink milk, the milk is not digested in your system because you are lacking those enzymes, and and the calcium may not also be absorbed properly because that is not. Now we are drinking cow milk. We are supposed to have human milk, and babies are the ones supposed to be drinking, having breast milk. But when we get older, we should eat the food rather than drinking milk. Okay, I'm not saying again that you should not drink milk.
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah,
adults shouldn't be drinking milk.
Yeah, you need to limit it, and you can drink almond milk. You can drink other kinds of plant-based products. Okay, that is better.
Okay. So you mentioned almond milk. Milk. Let me ask. Will for us adult almond milk, because when I go to the shelf, I see all those different type of milk. I'm used to cow milk, so the first thought is on cow milk. I'm familiar with it, but you just mentioned almond milk. Will almond milk be more beneficial to adult than cow milk?
I would say yes, because
how's that?
It does not have the almond milk does not have the cellulose.
Okay.
It does not have that. It is digestible better than the cow milk. Okay.
Okay.
Because the cow milk is more difficult because we do not have the enzymes that can digest it. Okay, but because the almond milk is plant-based, it has better metabolism. It can metabolize better than the cow milk. Okay, so
okay,
it does not. In other words, the cow milk is more difficult to digest because we do not have the enzyme to digest it, unless you take digestive enzymes. Okay, because see, I'm also saying that some of the, for example, sometimes people chew food and then they swallow it rather than chewing the food, because there's an enzyme in the mouth called amylase. You have to, when you are eating carbohydrate, for example, you are eating rice, you have to chew the rice properly so that it's pre-digested in the mouth, because the amylase now pre-digest the rice before it gets into the stomach. So that when it gets into the stomach enzymes now will continue to process the digestion so that it can be absorbed into the body. But sometimes people just swallow it. And when you swallow it and when it's not pre-digested, then it just sits in there in your stomach and it's going to cause fermentation. And that's why you will have stomach pains, and sometimes people pass Plato's and it smells badly because of the fermentation that is taking place in the stomach.
Wow.
So there is nothing being absorbed, and you just pass it on, and then you are still hungry. So because the food has not been absorbed. Okay, so that is the issue.
That will justify then the fact that most of us are, though we are eating and we feel we still have a malnutrition issue, our belly are full. And this remind me, we saw in certain locality, like saying somebody with a big belly is a symbol of good life. That's the thought we have.
Yes.
So what we're learning now is that, is it a problem instead for us?
It's a problem that when people are eating food and then you say that somebody has a extended abdomen is a symbol for good life, that is not true. The problem is that the extended abdomen is as a result of stomach fat, fatty tissues. And I've said earlier that too much fat in the body can result to diabetes, it can result to cancer, it can result to Alzheimer's disease, and it results to arthritis and all the chronic diseases that come from eating, making bad choices of food. So the best thing to do is to limit intake of high carbohydrate, or too much carbohydrate in your system. You have to limit and to eat more of green leafy vegetables, because the green leafy vegetables, for example, the animals, where do they get their carbohydrate from? By just eating the grass. And so we can obtain all the nutrients by just eating green leafy vegetables and fruits, okay, and also nuts. So somebody with a big body, and because your body mass index has to be proportional, you see.
Okay.
And the ratio is between 18 to 25. So if your body mass index is above 25, you are in trouble. Okay, you are in trouble because you are now accumulating fat, and that fat is going to cause damage in your system or in your body. So it's going to eventually get you will either get diabetes, heart disease, cancer, a whole 9 yards of all kinds of. Okay, so we have to be careful of what we are consuming. Okay, so we need to consume the right food in the right proportion, because too much of it or too much of anything is bad for us. It has to be in moderation, and the moderation does not mean that you eat just only one type of food, but you have to eat a variety, just like the animals do. They eat a variety. And what am I talking about variety? I'm talking about eating green leafy vegetables, eating fruits like pear, avocado, apple, pear, mangoes, and all the fruits, okay? And it should be fresh. Then you should eat plant-based products, okay? And not eat too much meat, because we eat a lot of meat as well, and that can be it can cause damage. And the way we cook the meat too, sometimes people cook meat at a very high temperature, which is up to 350 degrees. That actually causes because when you cook meat at that high temperature, there is the tissues contain glucose in there, and when you cook it at that temperature, there is a heat combining protein with glucose, and it's called end product. I mean, the end product is glycation. So glycation is the end product of having a processed meat at a very high temperature, and that can cause DNA mutation. So the cancer also comes from that, by just eating meat. So when we consume so much meat that is processed at a high temperature, that is not good for us. And so we like I said, the food, where we grow the food, how we process it, and how we eat are very important. Those are very important. Okay.
What will come back in the future to try to go deep in those different diseases that are very like ignorant to us without knowing that. Just by listening to you today, I'm already looking at myself, thinking about the thing I have had to ingest. And if now somebody, after listening to you, want to start eating healthy, what are the first step he should take? What are the food he should avoid? What are the things he should do?
Okay. Well, to the first step is to think seriously whether you want to transform your life. And when you want to transform your life, that means that, do you want to live healthy? Do you want to live with no pains when you get old, or even when you are young? You want to improve your health situation, because we are living in an environment that is very toxic, is very it is actually artificial, because the food that are being grown, they are artificial. Okay, they grow them on fertilizers that they kill the bacteria that they're supposed to decompose the natural vegetation in the wild, in the farm. So that so when we know that the food we're eating is not healthy, that we should depend on maybe food that is I don't want to use the word organic, because organic, there's nothing that, even though we may use the word organic, that they are growing the food on organic manure and from the local farm. But if it is something that that you are buying food from the store, that is mass production, and they have used fertilizer, they have used insecticide, they have used herbicide, they have used all kinds of chemicals on the food. So if we can, we want to be healthy, we want to think about buying food from the local market, or when you go to the grocery store, buy food that is fresh, and then you want to eat a balanced diet, meaning that you want to eat vegetables, you want to eat fruit, you want to eat whole grain, you want to limit meat, because you should eat more of fish and maybe poultry, and also limit it, because you don't want too much of that. And I can guarantee you that plant-based food or vegans live longer than people who are eating so much meat. Okay, so you want to think about, want to improve your health, you should embark on eating fresh vegetables, green leafy vegetables, all the vegetables, the fruits. What are the vegetables? Like spinach, kale, broccoli, cabbage, all anything green leaf. You should eat those. Then you embark on fruit, pear. Every morning you eat one pear, apple. You have heard the adage that one apple puts the doctor away. Okay, because the apple has a high fiber. Okay, and then you eat papaya, or what is called, you eat pineapples. The pineapple has bromelain, which is the enzyme that will digest protein. You want to eat mangoes. You want to eat peaches. other kinds of fruits. Those are things that you eat to improve your health. And then do also exercise. Okay, exercise is absolutely important. You should spend some time in the sun. You should walk, because when you are eating, the food has to circulate in the body. Because if you put gasoline in the car and you don't drive the car, the gas is going to be in your tank. But if you drive the car, the gas will burn, and so that is exactly how the body also functions. When you eat, you want to exercise so that the food that has been digested in you should burn, so that you can get the energy that you need to be able to do work. Okay, so we don't just to sit down and do nothing, but you are eating so that you can see, you can walk, you can hear, you can see or do things. So you are getting energy from the food that you are eating, and the food is also building those systems that will support you to be in good health. So, and to drink a lot of water. Water is absolutely important. You should be drinking at least 2 liters of water on a daily basis, and more so of alkaline water. That would be very important, or spring water. Okay, so yeah, and of course, sleep is also very important. You have to have a sleep. You sleep at least for 7 to 8 hours every night, because if you don't have good sleep, your body is stressed, and that stress causes acidity in the body, and that can generate sickness or disease. Okay, so that would be my advice to people.
Okay, doctor, thank you for those advice. As we are heading to the end of our section for today, dear viewer, just be assured that this health topic it's a series, because there are so many to talk about it, so many to talk about food, so many to talk about our health. So just connect to our page, connect to Dr. YUNMBAM. We are going to talk about how to in a moment, so that you can learn a lot of tips from him, from the content we try to provide to you. Dr. YUNMBAM, as I've known you, you have contributed a lot in in the medical field. Last time you were talking to me about some researches, some article that the research that you did that have been widely used by peers to bring light in this field. Can you talk to us in a few minutes about those before we dive in what you do personally for the larger public?
Yes, thank you. My research at the University of North Carolina State University was on, I used a bacterium called Lactose Bacillus reuteri, which is a microbiome that was isolated from a mammalian gut. So the purpose was that we wanted to develop a drug from this product, that, I mean, the bioactive molecule that this bacterium was secreting in the mammalian gut. So what I research curing diseases, human disease, and especially my interest was on African sleeping sickness, because African sleeping sickness occurs in humans as well as in animals. And so the issue has been that in Africa, children are suffering from what is called kwashiorkor, which is lack of protein in diet. So I wanted to see if I could develop vaccine from the African sleeping sickness parasite that causes the disease. But then, so I stumbled on this bacterium, and they asked me to work on it. So, but because it's going to be a long explanation, what I found out was that this bacterium lives in our gut, and that it is this Lactose Bacillus reuteri is very helpful in the gut, and it's very effective against breast cancer, against many diseases. So I published a paper in 1992 and also 93. So this bacterium is now being used as part of the yogurt. So it's being used, and it's being used as a probiotic. The probiotic intake for digestion,
Wow.
and so it is very helpful for breast cancer. It's helpful for many diseases. Okay, so I was yes,
That's
that's
amazing.
what my research produced. Okay.
So now, anytime I will eat yogurt, hey, please, whenever you eat a yogurt, think about Dr. Yumba. That's amazing. Congratulations. And you have been helping people through KMIU Health that you have established. Can you talk to us a little bit about this organization?
Yes, the organization, I formed it in 2012. It's called KMIU. This organization was formed, and I served there as a senior scientist. So, and the primary mission was to study nutritional bioactive molecules in plants, because I found out that the pharmaceutical industries use the same bioactive molecules in plant to synthesize it to produce drugs that the doctors prescribe. So my interest was that I wanted to use the natural molecules in food, so that if we can eat it rather than them processing it and give it to us in the form of drugs that cause damage to our bodies as well, or have a lot of the drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, cause a lot of side effects. So if we could eat the food directly, or it can be put in capsules, like those different parts, like the leaves or the roots or the barks of trees or whatever it is that has active molecules in it that will support or will heal our bodies. So I formed that for that reason, that instead of using naturopathic pharmaceutical products, we can use natural products that has not been processed, that is used in the same dose, because I'm a pharmacologist. So that we can now produce it using the same concentration, so that we can people can use. And that's why I formed the organization. And so it has been successful. People come to me, I consult patients who come to me for any kind of health issues, and then I discuss with them, and then recommend certain products, certain naturopathic products to them, or the natural products to them for whatever conditions they have. And we don't tell them not to take or not to consult, because we're not taking them away from their doctors. They can still take what the doctor has prescribed, but then we recommend them they should take what we also know that it is going to be helpful to them in their health, in their disease cure or process. So that's what we do. So we make recommendations to them based on what they have said and what they have been diagnosed with. Then I will now tell them that they should either take this and do that, and probably they may not necessarily take anything, but just giving them advice on what to do to enhance their health, or to improve their condition. Okay. And so the website, I have a website which is called KMIUHealth.com, and there I can now make recommendations to them, or to any person to depending on what they have. then I will make recommendations that they should do this or take this or take that. That's what I would. That's what I formed this organization for. Okay.
Thank you so much for the hard work you have been doing, for the hard work we know you will continue to do, for the tremendous amount of help that you have provided to people, not only to the general population, through the enzyme we have on the inside the yogurt that we enjoy. By the way, I love yogurt. That inside we have inside the yogurt, and the consultation that you provide to people and family. Please visit the, we are going to put the website in the description video, and feel free to reach out to us. We can connect you to Dr. Yumban for any type of help you have, and for every question you have, feel free to reach out to us. We will connect you with Dr. Yumban so you too can benefit from that tremendous work that he is doing. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, stay connected to our media network so that you can learn. And believe me, he has a lot to share with us. That's why we invite you to connect with us, to reach out to us. We will provide you with all the advice, all the support that you need, especially health wise, because our health determines our longevity. So, whatever the idea, whatever the potential, whatever we think we can do, if we are not in good health, we cannot do it. So, our health is more important. If we should have number one topic in our goals should be to watch over our health. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Dr. Yumba, for spending this time with us. And thank you for the future time, because we know that we still have a lot, a lot to do, a lot to share. Any last word, any last advice to our family before we hang off?
The last advice would be that they should strive to stay healthy and to live long, because people are dying early. You don't have, God allowed us to be in this world for 120 years, but some people live too early, and we have loved ones that we love so much. But if we do the things that I'm recommending here, you will see that your life will be improved tremendously. So, and you can live long, and you can see your great grandchildren and loved ones as long as God allows us in this world. But stay healthy, eat, limit your carbohydrate intake, eat a lot of green leafy vegetables, eat a lot of fruits, and exercise, and also meditate, pray always. Okay, that is.
Pray always. That's the good one to end with it. Do everything you can do. Please don't forget, meditate, pray always, because beside everything, our life, our health, our whole being is sustained by the hands of God. May God bless you. Thank you for joining us. We wish you a wonderful week. Again, stay connected to our page on YouTube, Facebook, Rehoboth Gospel TV, and on our online radio at rehobothradio.com. Take care and see you online. Bye bye. Thank you.